Doing so well in the first half, and halftime came. What happened?
Well, the start of the second half was pretty good. I think we traded a couple baskets each. We're still up 11. They caught fire, obviously, and I think that clearly affected us. They started hitting three after three. I mean, they were swishing them. But our defense was not as locked in as it was. Our offense struggled, at times, obviously. It would have been nice to get a few more offensive rebounds in that stretch where we were struggling to score. But despite all of the stuff they were doing on offense, I felt like we were still right there. It was 6, with some reasonable amount of time left. But we really struggled offensively, and I think it affected everything that we did from that point forward. And they got some energy, from the fact that they were playing good defense. We weren't getting seconds. We weren't scoring, certainly as easily as we were in the first half. We had a 27-10 run at one point. But then we had that long stretch where we weren't making jumpers, we weren't getting it back, and they were moving the ball. And I think the disappointing thing is, whenever you play a team, you hope that, you can do a better job when they're good players. And they've got 3 elite guys, and that's who hurt us. That's disappointing.
In the past, there have been a lot of 50-50 balls that went the other way. In the first half, they seemed to go your way. You really were pretty aggressive. And then once they started hitting threes, I think they hit their first 8 3-pointers. It just seemed the confidence seemed to change.
The complexion of any game. The only thing you say then is, all right, should we have done a better job locking into those 2 guys? Because it was really 2 guys. Forbes hit 1, but 2 guys hit 11. So, all right, do we, pay closer attention, But the rest of those guys are pretty good too. So, they're driving it, they're breaking down the defense, and they're creating help recovery situations. So you got to decide: do you stay? Do you stay home and give them a layup? I mean, it's a tough call for some of those guys. So we didn't guard off the dribble like we would have liked either.
Aaron's struggling. How much of the credit for that goes to Dawson, keeping him away from?
I certainly think some of it. He didn't seem to get going early. He was really. He didn't seem to have his usual energy level. If you remember, we took him out early. We never take him out that early. We just wanted him to, settle down, relax. I think he was hyped, and he kind of, I think he was really tired. And we put him back in. He was a little better, but he certainly wasn't himself. You're right.
What did they do differently to Gabe in the second half?
They were more physical. We didn't do as good a job getting the ball either. In the first half, there was more fouls called. I couldn't tell if there was any different at that end versus our end. We had a couple opportunities to get the ball to him. We didn't get it to him. So that's something we got to do a better job of.
Did you see fire coming out of the locker room and have to get so much momentum at halftime, and then kind of what?
I mean, like I said, it was disappointing. They scored early, and then we scored it, and then Whitey hits the 3. I'm feeling like, okay, we're okay. I certainly would rather, take it from 11 to 15 rather than, it goes back and then it goes back to 11. But I thought we were locked in. I thought our execution was pretty good. Like I said, a team makes their first 8 threes. Obviously, you have to take some responsibility for that. But it's going to affect your momentum and your mentality at that point.
Fran, did Trent do much different in the second half to get open? It seems like he was open more in the second half than the first half.
He's a guy that, he can break your team down off the dribble, or he can come off screens and spot up. I mean, they do a pretty good job of getting him the ball, but if they're not, he'll come get it and he'll get it himself. But there again, that's what I'm talking about. If he is away from the ball, then we got to do a better job containing dribble penetration so we can stay locked in and stay on him.
So it wasn't, there was a toughness issue which has been brought up a few times in the last few years.
No. I do think we got a little shell shocked at one point when they were hitting like I said, not only were they hitting them, they were swishing them. I mean, they were on fire. And, you know, so we didn't get as many chances to get transition opportunities. And, you know, so we were constantly coming down offensively against a stacked defense, which is harder to score against, of course.
You say first half execution on offense, there were stretches where it was probably as good as it's been all year.
It was. And it was actually even pretty good early when we were behind. Because our defense at the start of the game wasn't what it should have been. We got down 8-2. You know, I would like for it to have been better. So it took us a while really to kind of get the lead, and then we had a chance to get it to double digits.
When you look at where a lot of those shots, it seemed that Trice were making, it was against the zone. In the first half, your man seemed to be really effective against him.
We didn't play a lot of zone. He did. Valentine hit one on the top of the key against the zone. Yeah, I wasn't comfortable staying in the zone very much. We didn't play much zone. When you're behind, some coaches will do that. I don't like to do that.
What's your approach with the team now, Fran, after this was a game where you really had a chance to maybe take a step up and show everyone you were here for the long run? And what
you know,
you guys like that?
You approach it the exact same way. If we'd won the game, we'd be jumping on top of each other and all that stuff, chest bumping. But you still got to play Minnesota on the road as a really good team. So you got to get locked in and get ready for that game. So nothing changes there. You know, we just got to work a little bit harder, a little bit smarter, and be more consistent. Because I think when it's all said and done, you know, we're pretty good, but you know, our consistency has not been what it needs to be. And this league is brutal. So we just need to play better, longer. You know, so we try to sub guys. I mean, you look at the minutes, play 9 guys, 10 minutes or more. We try to keep guys rested. You know, the guy who played the most minutes was the most productive. Utah. So we should be able to play the minutes that are on here.
The consistency, is that the next thing you need to establish in this program?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think any team that wants to be, a championship team, you've got to be consistent. It's got to be consistency of effort, consistency of concentration, consistency of execution. Because if you do those things, you can survive missed shots. And we had a bunch of missed shots in that one stretch in the second half at the same time when they were making shots.
How frustrating is that for you as a coach, the consistency thing?
Well, it's the challenge of it. It's what coaching is. I mean, it's great if you can come out and just play great all the time. It doesn't work that way. So you got to, anytime you're in a situation like this, you're going to break down everything. How do we prepare? How do we practice? How much film did we watch? Did we do too much? Should we do more? And stay positive with that. All holding them accountable. I mean, they feel terrible. I feel terrible. But we're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep coaching them up. They're great kids. We've proven we can be really good. We lost to a really good team. We have to be respectful of who beat us and do better the next time we take the floor. And that's in practice, not Tuesday. It'll be better the next time we take the floor. And we got to be, I think, more as one. I think we got to collectively get together. What can I do to help the guy next to me? What can he do to help the guy next to him? And at some point, you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in the guys on both sides of you. And that's what we're going to do.
When you play Gabe, you get a lot of lift offensively, but Adam brings toughness on the other end of the court. How much did you kind of give up, maybe a little bit, when you keep leaving Adam off the floor?
I mean, that's one of the things, Scott. You look back and see, I should have played with him more. Gabe was rolling. He was active. He was really good on ball screens. I mean, he was moving his feet. He was an offensive threat. And of course, our offense is struggling, so you kind of leave your Utah and Olashani and White, and you leave your offensive guys out there. I mean, there was one time where I went and got Pete because he was exhausted.
Okay.